over the last 5 years or so, given that there wasn't that much rain, and they're off.
Ooh, it's a slightly messy start from Jesus. That'll help Anne's close up quite rapidly in the early stages, and we see Anne straightening up there, getting parallel to the bank. Trinity going quite wide there. They really probably want to tuck in, as I say that they do. So
Trinity might be looking for some clear water so they can get round and not be held up. Possibly. If they do bump, it looks very much like they're catching.
And it does look like they're gaining quite rapidly on Lady Margaret Hall, in fact.
If they can catch them before the bridge, that's a good position to be in.
I say, it's very difficult to tell the parallax. That looks like it's under half a length now, and it looks like Somerville closing very rapidly on St. John's as well. And behind that, I think Brasenose are actually catching Lincoln, which is quite a surprise.
Yeah, what's happening?
And we see, yes, this is down to a canvas now between Somerville and St. John's. So St. John's are probably going to want to concede that quite soon. Somerville steering out, which is probably not the greatest thing to do at this point, although John's looking quite messy. If we can switch over to camera 2, follow this through, and we see a concession there. So Trinity have bumped Lady Margaret Hall. And we see up the top of the division, Jesus still going, St. Anne's still going. So Trinity have bumped Lady Margaret Hall, which I wasn't quite expecting. University rowing clear at the top of the division, as we said was sort of expected. And we pan down to St. John's, still being chased by Somerville. In fact, they might be starting to pull away now.
Well, I think Somerville are still holding on. They're not making any water up on them at the moment.
No, both crews making a few little mistakes, it looks like.
Looking a bit scrappy.
Yeah. Well, again, as we said, and we're getting very close here between Brasenose and Lincoln. This was unexpected.
Surely.
Brasenose, I can see several heads in the Brasenose crew looking round. You really don't want to do that.
No.
It's very easy to get distracted, especially in the bow seat, but you need to keep focus on your rowing and that's how you gain on the other crew.
And rely on the cocks to get you in the right position.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, stroke can tell the cocks what's going on behind them. So that communication between those two seats.
Well, and also, and we see, and St. John's have conceded to Somerville. Looks like they've caught quite a large crab. So we might see Lincoln and Brasenose going for St. John's as well now. That's going to end badly for them if they get stuck in the bank. Yes, as you were saying, sorry, my train of thought has completely gone there.
Yeah, cocks and stroke communication, so they can see what's going on behind them, as well as obviously trusting the cocks to get them in the right position to bump the crew ahead. Cox has also got to be aware of what line they want to take. We can see this is a great shot for seeing the lines that the Coxes are taking with the boats.
Absolutely, and you're also relying on your bank rider, so they're hard to see, but along the towpath there is a coach usually with each crew, and some coaches simply shout, some have a system of whistles for telling crews how far apart they are.
Yeah, and of course there's no spectators this year, or supposed to be no spectators. Security trying to stop spectators going onto the towpath, so we have just got the coaches.
Absolutely, and we see coming out the gut, Lincoln have closed that gap St. John's down to about 2/3 of a length, and Brasenose on them. It looks like Lincoln are starting to pull away from Brasenose now.
And we often see this when the crews sort of get into their stride and they settle down, they get the boat running nicely, they get their confidence back, and that panic of the start goes away. They can settle in to doing some good rowing, getting the rhythm, sending the boat away.
And it's a very common tactic to throw in a push as you come out of the gut to try and, you've had the rudder on, it's killed the boat speed a little bit. You want to put in a nice push, really focus the crew together. You've got to get the boat moving again.
Yeah.
And really settle onto it. So that's why you often see this concertina effect coming as you come through the gut. The crews put the rudder on, which slows them down, and then they start to pull away again once they've got straight. And you see that Jesus rowing up here towards the top of the division, still about a length of clear water between themselves and St. Anne's. That's not really closed since they came into the gut. So Jesus might be comfortable here, in fact.
Yeah, let's see if they've got the legs to hang on. So you can see that they've crossed back over the stream now. This is coming up to Greenbanks.
No, this is coming up along the Boathouse Island. So we've just passed the Greenbank, and they've crossed from the Greenbank onto the Boathouse Island now. So this camera is located somewhere in the middle of the Boathouse Island, where most of the colleges boat from. You do, of course, some that boat from the University College Boathouse, the other side of the river, and some that boat from Longbridge's Boathouse, where the previous camera was. And so we now see Lady Margaret Hall. Yeah, they have dropped back off the back of St. Anne's quite a long way, further than I expected them to. So we're now waiting to see what can happen between St. John's, Somerville, Lincoln, Somerville bumped out, sorry, between St. John's, Lincoln and Brasenose towards the back of the division is really what we're trying to see here.
The first three look fairly comfortable.
Yeah, it looks like University and Jesus have rode over. So University will race again in an hour at the bottom of Women's Division 1, see if they can catch Magdalen College and secure themselves a place there. And that has been a bump, yes. So that is St. John's getting bumped by Lincoln. Is that, or is that Brasenose? No, that's Lincoln. Brasenose coming into screen from the left now. Hard to tell the difference between the black and the dark blue blades occasionally. And we see St. Catherine's coming along at the back. So that was quite an interesting division, actually. So if I'm correct, we've had Trinity bump Lady Margaret Hall. Somerville and Lincoln have both managed to bump St. John's, which is a fair amount of action for one of these higher divisions. As the standard tends to pick up towards the higher divisions, you tend to see more crews rowing over because there's less of a speed differential, generally speaking.
St. Catherine's doing very well, though, to hold their own. They're not letting Brasenose get away from them. Given that,
one of the
looks a bit unstable there.
Yeah, big wobble. Although of course this crew has raced already today, so they will be a little bit more tired than some of the others.
Yeah, it's all kudos to them.
Yeah, absolutely. The situation you really don't want to be in is to get stuck as sandwich boat for the entire week and have to row the course 8 times. I know crews that have done that, and it's not pleasant. And it looks like we've almost finished the division. I think Brasenose is just about crossing the line there now. So yeah, quite a bit of movement there, and some movement I wasn't expecting, having watched the crews training over the last few weeks. So.